Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to actually walk through kind of gouache brush strokes, kind of some things I use for landscape painting, and also at the end I'm going to apply these brush strokes to an actual sketch and kind of walk you through that. So here I have kind of once again that split primary palette that I was using before, and I'm just showing kind of there's really no water on my brush, and you can see at the end there you get kind of this dry brush technique, and it kind of gives you these kind of broken strokes. And what I'm going to do next is kind of show, more water as we progressively do these next two brush strokes. I don't like to use a ton of water with gouache. I feel like if I'm going to use a lot of water, I might as well just use watercolor, because you can see, look at that last brush stroke that I just did there. It's just, there's not really a lot of pigment, there's not really a lot of paint there in that stroke. So if you're doing like an underpainting, which I don't usually do, I'm usually sketching with gouache, I like to mostly load the brush with a lot of paint. So maybe that second brush stroke is about as far as I go with the water. So yeah, I'm just using this blue color. I'm just showing kind of some vertical brush strokes as well. Those are really great for, distant trees or big masses of color. And so I'm just showing, I loaded up my brush maybe once or twice, and you can see kind of what the pigment load is there. It's helpful to just kind of play around with the gouache, and I would suggest that you just pull out your paints like this and just start to make different types of brush strokes. So what I'm going to do here is just do a couple lines. And I'm just taking good amount of paint and putting it at the end of the brush and just making really quick lines. That's going to be super helpful when you're painting in the landscape, to not get a ruler out or do anything like that. And here I'm just kind of making a circle because I want to show kind of like hard edges, which you're seeing there, but then you can make soft edges really quickly with kind of your fingers. And edges are really important in painting. I'll get into that later on in the channel. Okay, so I let the gouache kind of dry just a little bit here, and what I'm doing is just showing kind of, I'm taking yellow now, and I'm just showing once again that dry brush technique. There's a lot of paint on there, and as you can see, it kind of breaks up at the end. That's really nice in the landscape, in skies and in mountains and marshes. And here I'm just going to kind of blend it back into that blue, and you'll see one of the things that's tricky with gouache is it can get reactivated pretty easily. So now that blue and that yellow is kind of blending. That's actually a good thing. I think, as you'll see in the painting later on in the video, when you're painting into skies, I love that kind of blending technique. But it is a challenge with gouache as well, because it's always going to get reactivated, because your brush is wet and has water on it and has paint. I enjoy that. I think some people kind of struggle with that, but something to kind of just play around with. Just, you need to understand the medium in order to do these things. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing here with the blue and some of this red and try to make some purple. But as you notice, I think I put way too much water on my brush there, and now it's just starting to really lose its pigment, and it's starting to lose the color there, and it's just kind of washing out. So that's another challenge you have to watch out for. When you're in the field and you grab your brush and it's got too much water on it, you're going to really reactivate a lot of the paint that you've spent painting underneath. So just watch out for that, but it's just something you'll learn over time using gouache. And once again, now I'm just showing the red with that kind of dry brush technique. And the more dry it is, or the less paint you have on the brush, you can see how that kind of streaks out. So that's really nice. And yeah, just washing my brushes there. And I think right here I'm gonna actually just show, once again, like, let's take some of this yellow and let's put it on top of this blue, and let's see how quickly that turns into a green. That was pretty quick. So it really reactivated what was underneath it. And now I'm gonna have to kind of adjust to that. So the way that I do that is you're gonna have to take kind of more paint. You're gonna have to take more of that yellow and make sure that you're going over that. See how it's getting more yellow. But I have a lot of paint on the brush there. But as you can see, it's still a green there. That could be from some of the blue getting on my brush, but I'm picking up almost pure pigment, and now it's starting to come into being a little bit more yellow, but still got that green. So yeah, that's something to definitely watch out for. I also think it's just something that you'll get better with once you keep working with the paints, and so an exercise like this is really going to help you with that. Alright, so now we're going to get into doing a quick sketch of the Province lands, which is in Provincetown on Cape Cod. That's actually where I live. And it's actually a national park. And there's this really interesting marsh area that has a really wide expanse, and you get to see some amazing clouds over it. So, I really wanted to kind of capture the essence of this place and the mood of this place with these clouds. But as I'm starting the painting here, you can see I'm not using a ton of water. I'm just trying to get in masses of color. I'm not too worried that that's going to be the final color, because as you're going to see, I'm going to come over that with the actual colors that I want. And it's going to show some of that blending of the gouache that's underneath that kind of base color. So yeah, just working in the sky right now, trying to get some large dark masses, some cools versus some warms, and some darks versus lights. And you'll probably see some of this kind of dry brush technique as I work into that sky and into those clouds. You'll see kind of this kind of broken color come across. And yeah, as I work into those clouds, you can see, those are actually not the final colors that are going to be in those clouds, because I know I'm going to come over with the actual kind of local color, or the color that I actually see in those photos. But I'm trying to get it down as quickly as I can. And here I'm about to kind of do the same thing with the marsh. I just want to get that green kind of big mass in there, and I want to get all these masses of color in. I'm making some of the kind of mud colors that you see on the marshes. And I'm not using a ton of water, as you can see. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I don't use a ton of water when I'm sketching with gouache. I really want to kind of get the color down. I want to make sure that this study has all the colors that I want, and it's not kind of washed out. Because what I'll do is I'll use these to make larger paintings. I paint in acrylic as well, and sometimes I'll blow these up into really big paintings if I'm really happy with them. So yeah, I'm still working on kind of massing in these greens, adding a little red, getting some variety to those colors. But I like to work, pretty much all around the painting. I don't like to focus on just getting stuck in one area. So you'll see I kind of am jumping back and forth from the marsh on the bottom up into the clouds and up into the sky. So here I'm actually noticed that the horizon line is much too dark. And if I'm going to get that expanse effect here, I need to lighten that up. But as you can see, I almost made like a whitish yellow, and when I'm layering that over the dark that's there, you're going to kind of get a little bit of that blending. And I really like that. I really like that in gouache. I like that it reactivates what's underneath it. And so yeah, just working through some of the clouds here. Like I mentioned before, you can use your finger to kind of blend, especially in clouds. They have those really soft edges. So if you come in with your finger like that, you can really blend those colors in together. And so those final kind of light pieces that I'm putting on those clouds, as you can see, I didn't use a lot of water because I want that broken color. I want that dry brush. And that's how you're going to get really nice textures in your skies and in your clouds, is to just kind of use that pure paint without the water. But yeah, I'm getting close to kind of wrapping up this little sketch here. Lightening up the sky. I noticed that it was kind of dark, and then getting this kind of water that's in this marsh in as well. And that's usually kind of like a reflection of what's in the sky. I probably could have, looking at it now, maybe lightened up the value on that a little bit more. But I was pretty happy with the sketch and how it came out. And I'm just putting in some final details here. But the main kind of point of this was that sky and that expanse of that marsh. So here's the final painting. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more videos about using gouache to paint the landscape, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting up tutorials on color mixing, values, plein air painting, sketchbooking, and more. Alright, well, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.